Hello? Hello? Up. There we go. Okay. Okie dokie then. I guess I'm gonna do more tree chopping stuff today. I think I have it mostly how I want it. There's more to do for sure though. We need to do the whole optimization side of things. It's going to be a journey. That will be a freaking journey because I need to like bake all these dynamic meshes into static meshes, similar static meshes. Yeah, it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a whole ass thing. Let me show what I have so far. Here's a tree. I'm gonna chop it, and I have health indicators now. I do want to do some more work on those, though. I think I should hide the name, especially if it's going to say chopped tree on the UI already. Chopped pine tree. I'd also like to pilot, maybe pilot's the wrong term, try out. God, look at how many trees are here. There's like a bushel of trees. Big old thick boy. Did you already try to let Claude Code or Codex do some of the work for you? Try? I mean, I have used both of those things. I don't like to use them. I prefer to do it myself. Yeah, I think first things first, let me just remove the name here. Name text, get display name. I've hard coded that to be question marks. Yeah, just don't do that. Yeah, just don't do that. Easy. And I'm wondering if maybe the trees just kind of reset after long enough. Like if they're like half chopped and you don't touch them for long enough, they just like reset. Welcome in, guys. Good morning. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now that looks a little bit better. And then that nameplate will disappear. Oh, also, that's not scaling. That is not scaling. Let me look at the nameplate processor here. So the scale, okay, so we're not, okay, I'm ignoring this here. Yeah, let's do scale in a different one. Let's do scale in a different one so we can actually hit the tree. I process the tree one a little bit differently because I don't want to do the same stuff. Let's just like update indicator scale here. Basically just copy all of this, really. And then don't do that one. We won't need the cylinder bounds data, so just anything with these two, which should target the tree as well. Nameplate location. We do need that. Hang on, let me look here. Which, let's just treat the... Yeah, let's just treat location data as that, like the actual entity that it's on. I'll need to rebuild here. But that should... Oh, I also need to call the function. That would be nice. Yes, yes, you have to call the function if you want it to be called. Very important, very important. Marcus, welcome. Morning. What does void variable mean? That means no type. That means untyped. That means it does not return anything. So it's not a variable, rather a lack thereof. Although if you do see it on the left-hand side of a variable assignment, that means it's untyped. That means essentially you don't know what fucking type it is. And if it's a void pointer, which is usually how you would see that on the left-hand side of a variable assignment, that usually means you would need to static cast it's like raw binary data or something like that you need to static cast to some type. It's like a raw memory essentially. But as the return value of a function, it basically means no return value. Okay. Well, let's see if these are you scaling now? I don't think you're scaling. Oh, it is. Okay, it is. It is. I feel like the scaling should actually... Because, like, I don't feel like it's changing until I get, like, this far away. Now I feel like the scale is actually changing. I feel like I need to... adjust that a little bit. I want it to start scaling a little bit sooner. In range A is 500. 200 maybe? I mean, that's kind of like min range. I don't know. I don't know what that should be. We'll see. 500 feels like much closer than what I was at. Kind of hard to tell where they start and stop scaling. I kind of want the tree one to be a little bit smaller, just altogether. Also, I don't need the view distance of the tree one to be that far. I don't know how much I care about that, though. Also, if it gets felled... Oh, I can target trees now. I didn't realize that. Cool. Draconin, welcome. Good morning. Thank you for the sub. Welcome in. Guten Morgen. It's like, I feel like this is like 200. Here, let's go no entities spawned. Okay, right there. How far away am I? 400. So yeah, we should be scaling right now. We should be scaling. Maybe this needs to be a little bit... Is the game out yet? Oh no. My sweet summer child. Oh no. No, 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 no. Not even close. Not even close. Maybe point... Do I just go 0.1 here? I mean, that just kind of seems... too small. Seems too small. Where's the indicator descriptor? Maybe I need like a base scale as well. I'd hate to add just more information here. I mean, at that point, like, what did I set the max view distance to? 4,000, which feels right. God, 4,000 is so far. Because, like, I was thinking 3,000 is going to be, like, kind of my max ability range. But if that's that's really far. That's really fucking far. Whoops. Okay, let's see how far 4,000 is. Let me make sure I was actually at the... Yeah, so like right here. So that I can't even... Yeah, that's like... I don't know, that's too far. So if 3,000 is going to be my max ability range... I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Okay, thanks for updating us. Maybe, because I want it to be a little bit farther than the max range. And I'm thinking like there may be some talents to increase your range even further. Maybe we go 3,500. You never heard that song? No. Is this the Choppy Choppy Tree song? Diggy Diggy Hole? That seems, I mean, I guess a little bit better. Monty Python. Which one? Or is it one of their skits? Maybe it's just too big altogether. Let's go. Because like 0.1, you can barely fucking see it. It's like not even, there's no point even showing it at that, when it's that far. And I wonder if the nameplate widget itself should like stop showing name once it gets too far. I'm wondering if I should do kind of an exponential lerp. Give me entities now. Yeah, because like at that point I can't even read the name. Might as well not even show it. Oh, it's the Flying Circus. I don't know that I've seen that one in its entirety. That's probably why I don't know it. That is one thick tree. Oh, that's two trees nestled up to each other. Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should put like a name variable on here as well. That's not very... That is not very generic of this. The indicator widget. How do I set variables on an indicator widget? Or on a user widget from C++? Set. No, I want indicator widget. I've never worked with widgets in C++ before.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Bronze. Welcome.
It's John C.
That is loud.
Why are you running?
Bang up, bang
Why
up.
are you running?
Bang up, Terry. What in reverse, Terry?
Thank you for the raid.
What in reverse?
Welcome in.
Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jesus.
we got him. What the dog doing?
Welcome in. Hello, everyone. I'm working on tree chopping stuff today, and kind of nameplate / tree chopping, as I have dynamic tree chopping, and I have nameplates that should show up for them. I've been kind of working on a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Yeah, ignore the bad physics. I'm trying to determine scale things for like how the nameplate should scale. The farther away they get, because like I can't read that name back there. That is a name that I cannot read. Wait, why did that take so long to pop in? I had to get way closer for that to pop in. Huh. Huh. That seems wrong. But how was your stream? What were you up to today? How's your game going? I know you're doing a little bit of buildy crafty as well. What is the... Let me look at my conditions for adding... Hey, I'm getting sorted entities in radius. Oh, I wonder if... Sort entities by distance to player. So this get entities within radius is actually kind of a coarse radius based on my partitioned entity structure. My chunk processor is what I call that. All my entities are stored in chunks. I'm wondering if we're just not returning one. Let's turn debug on for that bad boy here. I think it did have to do with that. I didn't add him until I crossed. Yeah, is the exact frame that I crossed the threshold there. Okay, so that's not good. That is not good. I feel like that means I'm not... Something's wrong here. Yeah, let's I guess just let's manually check these chunks. Which oh, we're not okay, run live coding just real quick. Let me get that breakpoint. Okay, so we are at 0, 0, and it looks like we're just getting the one ring. I mean, I feel like that should be returning everything. Does it have 10 entities in it? It has 7. It has 7. He just ran up a tree. He's up there in the tree. Is he stuck now? Nope, he's coming back down. Okay. Yeah, I mean, something's very broken there. Something is very, very broken. It's still returning the same chunks. Returning different entities, though. What is happening here? We're just adding basically any entity in those maps. If the entity query is broken, that means a lot of stuff is broken. You know what? Let's just give me one. This is a little complicated to try and reason through in my head. Let's just do one entity. And I believe my character would be in here as well. Okay, we have Briar Bridalwood. Wonderful name. So let's run and get his nameplate to disappear. Of course, I'm like right at the edge of a chunk, so it actually looks like it's working properly. Let's do this here. God, of course he's like right at the edge to where it like kind of seems like it's working. How do I get this to work here? Well, now it's working. Does it happen when you're like more than one chunk away? Here we go. Oh no, he was up in a tree. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, I can like kind of see it here. Cause like if he could hold still, that would be great. Okay, so he was being returned there. Okay, but now the nameplate's gone. Okay, I gotta turn off his velocity or something. I gotta get him to hold still. Okay. Wilder Whisper Wind. Okay. Okay, let's not do that on a corner. Okay. Nameplate is gone. Ew, it's working from this direction. Is it a corner? Corner direction here. Aha. It is. Okay, so he should be being returned as I am right here. There are no entities. There are no entities, good sir. So am I calculating the chunk coordinates incorrectly? How would I... I want to like log these, you know, and I want to... Which one is he? He's in 0, probably. This might be incorrect here. I think he's at 0. Let me look. back to the chunk processor. Just give me that, because then I can see chunks. I have, oh god, of course. Aren't I supposed to be removing the chunks or something like that? Where's my debug log? Yeah, here we go. Yes, give me that. Yeah, so he is at 0, 0, and then I am at -1, 1, 0. Okay, so we're not returning 0, 0 from that chunk. Calc entity chunk chords and radius is not correct. We've determined the root cause. Why are you? Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I fucking accidentally hit enter, so now I don't get a breakpoint. That seems correct. Radius in chunks, so I'm doing a radius of 2 plus or minus 2. I feel like I am checking the distance to the chunk center. That's probably the issue. Although I am subtracting half of the chunk size. That doesn't work for diagonals, though. That would only work for orthogonal directions. Silly my drawing. Silly past my drawing. What were you thinking? So this is my chunk location. Neighbor chunk location. That's actually neighbor chunk coordinate. What was I hoping to do here? Oh god, I use that everywhere. I use that in so many places. Oh no. Like I just wanted to, because like I guess you come up with a square of chunks, right? And then I guess I wanted to eliminate some. To try and cut down. I'm getting chunks within the radius. I'm also doing it from the radius of the input chunk. I'm grid snapping location. Maybe if I just use regular location here, rather than the grid snapped version of the location. That would help. I still feel like that's not correct. Let me think about that a little bit harder. I am getting the ceiling radius. Let's see if we are actually returning 0. Yeah, we are. We're returning a lot more there now. So I should see the nameplate show. Yeah. So that solved that particular case. But I feel like now that I'm looking at this a little bit harder, I feel like this isn't correct. Minus f math, yeah, it is dist squared, so minus, we're getting the distance and subtracting half of a chunk size. I probably should have been subtracting an entire chunk size with the grid snapped version. Does this solve all of the cases, though? Okay, so chunk size is 3,000. Each chunk is 3,000 by 3,000 by 3,000. I'm saying get me all chunks within a 3,500 radius of this location, which is at -3,000, 3,000, 0. So I should basically be getting... Yeah, 2 is the proper answer here. Now, there's going to be several that we omit, I believe. Because it would be... Yeah, what is this number here? This is like... the max number. And I want to see what this is so I can determine how many are getting pulled from the output. Oh, 125? Oh my god. Wait, why is it 100? If it's 2 in each direction... Jesus Christ. So 1 in each direction would be like what? 9 on one face, 9 on another face. And then 6, 8, 9 for the center ones. So 18 plus 9, or 9 times 3, 27. So it'd be 27 for 1, and then we add another like a ring around it, and that gets to 125. I think the +1 here is maybe wrong. Why am I +1ing here? Yeah, we end up with far less than that. We end up with far less than that. We end up with 11. Yeah, I don't think +1 is correct here. 2 times radius in chunks. What was my logic here? It's 2. Is it not 2 times 2 times 2? No, that's 2. So if it was just a radius of 1... 2 times 2 times 2 doesn't make sense at all. Maximum is 64. That seems a lot more reasonable. It'd only be 8 though if it was a radius of 1, which does not set. That's not correct. Is it radius in chunks square? No. What is the fucking math here? All right. Hit me. Where is the new... Oh, they changed the UI. What is the math? max. Oh, so I had it right the first time. I had it right the first time. Okay, it was +1. That just seems like a fucking lot. It was 125. Okay, past my drawing was correct. He rarely ever is, so that's surprising. Yeah, the minus chunk size divided by 2 is like, there's like this really weird scenario I think that's going to happen, not calc, because I'm subtracting. So basically, sorry for the flashbang, me chunks here. There's going to be this really weird scenario where like my guy is like at the corner of a chunk and we're doing a radius of 1 and we're like checking, like we'll be checking against the center here, but because we're only subtracting half, that means like half is like this. Right, because this is a little bit farther than half. So there's like this. If I'm in a corner, there is some scenario where I am in a corner, and I do not hit this. I do not return this chunk. I don't know what would I need to change the search radius to be to get that. If these are 3,000, 3,000. Or is it okay because I'm always doing the ceiling? Seal to end here. Am I always getting one more than I need? If I'm always getting one more than I need, maybe I'm actually okay. Alright, let's see what Claude thinks. Just hallucinate me something, just to give me something to go off of. The math doesn't quite work out. Oh god. It said there was a fundamental issue. I don't like that. Yeah, squared. It needs to square it. Radius plus chunk size. It's cheaper. It's not. There's no way it's cheaper. It's the same. It's the same. No need for subtraction at all. That doesn't make, like, subtraction is so cheap. Okay, I mean, that... Then we just add the chunk size. Is that what you were saying? Or are you saying square the chunks? Yeah. I don't see that as being any different from what I just did. Subtracting a squared value from a squared distance is not valid geometry. I don't know if Claude knows what it's fucking talking about here, to be honest with you. I don't think this addressed what I was hoping it would. It should still work, though. I don't think that that's actually any different. I kind of like it better because, yeah, we don't have to... I don't know. It's kind of less explainable here. Am I returning more chunks now? What's going on here? That is an issue. Uh-oh. Okay, hang on. Let's rebuild and start over. Am I using the entity query in my chunk construction? I wonder if that just got messed up with live coding and such. Oh no, I don't like that. Calc entity chunk cores and rate. Yeah, okay, so we do use this as a part of the algorithm. Calc num invokers. Okay. We do use it as a part of the algorithm, that makes sense. Maybe Claude was entirely fucking wrong. There's my guy. So the cyan capsules are for when I cross from one chunk into another. It'll remove me from the previous chunk. That's the intent anyway. No crashes or no assertions being hit. Okay, so maybe we're fine. Let's give me more. Okay, I think we're fine. I mean, I think me changing my... The one little location may have actually been a bit better there. May have actually fixed the issue. Fixed chunk processor. That is not what I copied. Okay. I do think that fixed it. Okay, so now all that's working properly. What was I thinking of before that? Oh, like the names. Okay, so what I want to avoid, back to the nameplates. What I want to avoid is having a tick function in here, because that was adding up. Because there could be upwards of 30 nameplates, or there's a max number of nameplates. And yeah, when it's too far away, I would like to just emit an event or something. I need to create some sort of threshold for like what determines a small nameplate. And then I kind of also wanted like a base scale potentially. I could either do that, or I could create... Can I like extend this? Can I create like a subclass of a widget? Is that a thing? I can. Okay. And then if I change this to 0.5, and then I guess I would need to, let's do this. Is W for widget? Is that why they name it that way? I always use UI underscore. And I guess the tree nameplate doesn't have a name. Anyways, okay, that's half. So let's go into a mode. And then where do I spawn that at? Here. Hello? Oh, is it private? It's protechy. Okay. I'm just shoehorning this in right now. Oh, it's set indicator class. That's what it is. Okay, let's rebuild now. Save that. Oh, that's a cool rock. Okay. Rebuild 41 actions. Jesus Christ. I don't like changing the game mode or creating hard references to it. This might be a good time for more coffee. Yeah. Do a coffee burb. Dog will go pee pee, of course. Okay, we're back. All right, let's wire up this tree nameplate here. How can I poop? Okay. Oh. That doesn't look 50% scale. Do something like that. That way I'll know. I will absolutely know. Okay, yeah, that ain't it. Did I actually set it properly? That's the next question. Indicator descriptor, the widget, that's W, it's still W nameplate. Maybe no? Did I set the right one? Yeah, tree nameplate is there. Why? Why are you like this? Let me try this. Never set the other one there. Okay, yeah, that's like not working at all. Why? That's weird. Now it didn't even show up. Didn't even show up. Huh. Huh. Why wouldn't that fucking work? Ah, the indicator class needs to be set before it's added. Glad I checked that. Glad I checked that. Okay, we're gonna need to... God, I didn't want to have to do all this. Didn't want to have to edit everything. Okay, rebuild. Rebuild. Rebuild, as I like to say. Oh, right, we have to update this one now, too. Okay, now let's see if this tree widget is like the distorted one. It is. Okay. That looks ridiculous. Okay, so we can do. Make it half the size now. Little itty. Oh, such a little itty bitty nameplate. Oh my god, it's so cute. Okay, so I can set individual widget classes. Okay. All these guys are being really weird, right? I'm gonna stand in there menacingly. Turn their velocity back on. Okay, so that works. That works. And that is probably something I would like to support. You know, maybe these two nameplates aren't that different. But in the future, I could have nameplates that are entirely different. And I like that I can support that. So now the question becomes, I want to create like some event to hide the name based on the scale or something like that. Now, I think I probably need to create like an interface for that. I do have an indicator interface already, so that's good. I'll add it to that. This interface was already there from the Lyra system. Correct? Yes. Let's just create like a generic event. What, like receive event? Handle event? And give it a good old gameplay tag. Do I want to do a gameplay tag? Then I'm gonna have to create gameplay tags. Kind of just want to use strings, honestly, because these aren't like. Oh, do I just want to use a string or what? I mean, maybe I should just make specific functions. Maybe. Or an enum. Should I just use an enum? So I don't know that I'm going to need other events on the nameplate. I just want an event for when it gets small enough to like trigger a small version of it, right? So I can hide the name without having to add a tick method to the widget. I don't want to just like add a bunch of fucking gameplay tags for throwaway things. Let's add like a size change enum. I've decided. Widgets. I don't know. Oh, I don't know what I want to do here. Why am I being so indecisive? So I would need an event going the other way too when I change this from small to large or large to small. Or I could just check the scale. I could just check the scale of the indicator. We're going to do indicator widget event. Okay, that's what we're going to do. And then in nameplate processor, if it's below half size. If old scale greater than small scale threshold and scale less than small scale threshold. Let's say less than or equal. Do I have an instant? Do I even have an instance of the widget? Oh, and then I need to do indicator handle event, or rather execute. So weird how you have to do that. E indicator size change. I guess I have to dot get here. No. Show me the... whatever this one's called from. No, I want to see how you are executed. There it is. It is a U user widget. Wait, what did I do wrong? Hello? Oh, it's an incomplete type. That's why. Okay. Okay. Indicator size change event, and then I'm assuming there's going to be some way for me to check what the scale is within the widget. Like what it's currently being rendered as or something. Widget and its geometry. So I guess it's computed, forget, there's like a node for like get geometry or something like that. A lot of geometry. Render scale transform. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I just want the, maybe I'll just store an instance of the indicator and get it that way. Did I handle event? Oh, right, I have to like do it this way. I forgot. Mario. Event. Switch. No, not that. Wait, why can't I switch on this enum? Oh, it's not blueprintable. Okay, try again. Try that again. God, look at that deer. That's crazy. Crazy looking moose. There it is. Okay. Create a function, handle, size change. Okay, so I don't have the indicators saved. Now we get to play realign the noodles. There we go. Until size change, I will grab the indicator. Get scale. Can I break here? Less than 0.5. We know that we're going smaller. We're going to go to our small update name text. Okay. I feel like this should work. Yes, however, I think I might have it backwards. Oh, I should probably check when they spawn too. That's probably the issue here. And then let's also just do this within the name text. That way it happens everywhere. Okay. Update name text. Okay, there we go. No, that's still... Uh-oh. Yeah, this is not working properly. Do I have it back? I might have the math backwards. If old scale was greater than small scale threshold, and new scale is less than or equal to small scale threshold, execute the event. If old scale was less than or equal to small scale threshold, right, that feels right. Let's just do one entity. Okay, we're just getting hit all the fucking time now. Nope. It's funny because the velocity is not based on the Z, so he moves very fast up and down the tree. Okay, old scale, new scale. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, why did that only get hit once this time? Because he's walking towards me, yeah. So wait, why didn't that name? Okay, yeah, we hit the large to small. Yes, set text, yes. Don't I have the entity already as well. So hang on, let me do this instead. Boop. Also do less than or equal, which that might have been the issue actually. So he's like he's right next to me, and we're hitting it again. So he might be walking away from me. Ryder has stopped responding. I've been well. Welcome back. Hope you've been well as well. We are just continuously hitting this. 0.52. .54. Where is this scale actually? Oh, I'm doing this in two. I didn't delete the old one. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, we're not triggering that all the time. Okay, now we're hitting the large event. Nice. That is false. Okay, okay. I think that second one that I forgot to delete was causing the issue. Okay, hang on. Let's undo these. I think maybe the small threshold. Take that down just a bit. We did not. Oh, right, because it doesn't match. These have to match, I suppose. Which maybe I should make this a, maybe I should make that another interface function. Yeah, those like have to match, basically. Yeah, let's make that another interface function, I suppose. But then it needs to be specific. You put it on the widget, or on the, not widget, the indicator. We could put it on the indicator. And now I hate just, and I want to change this into ECS data. Maybe I do that now, huh? Yeah, maybe I do that now. That way we can conditionally do some of this stuff a lot easier. Indicator system. So I've been kind of, I guess it doesn't, folder structure doesn't matter too much, but I have been thinking about how should I organize this. Like my indicator system could be a encapsulated modular thing. It could be a module or a plugin. My interpretation of the Lyra indicator, which I kind of want to rename this now. We don't need to call it Lyra indicator manager component. We can just call it indicator manager component. But anyways, folder structure. Should I put the ECS data within the indicator system folder, or within my ECS folder? I've been putting everything else in the ECS folder. Anima, welcome. I'm working on, I guess I'm kind of just rewriting the Lyra indicator manager, or indicator descriptor component thingo. Indicator system, I don't know what to call it. That plus a little bit of tree chopping as well, as I just added nameplates, those indicators to the trees to chop them. Yeah. And I need to not add, oh, another thing I forgot. I need to not add the I need to not either, okay. Either I don't add the nameplate when we one-shot the tree, or I add a delay for removing the nameplate when it's felled. Because I am also going to add one of those. Maybe I'll just do that right now. I'm going to add... Wait, I have 3 different things that I'm thinking of in my head right now. Let's finish the first thing that I was fucking on, which was the event scale thingo and doing ECS data. I'll just keep... I should add it in here. Okay. This is going to be... indicator scale threshold data. But then I'm gonna need to put this on... I'm gonna need to define this in the blueprint. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, maybe I should just stick with the U object then? For easy access. Because otherwise I'm going to need to create utility functions, and then I'm going to need to create a property, a variable on the actual widget blueprint. And then I'm going to need to call those blueprint functions to create the ECS data. It seems like a lot of boilerplate just to... do something quite simple. I just don't want to keep like adding data to this. I mean, it's not that important, right? It's not that. Okay, I'm changing my mind. Delete this. I've already made them much more performant. I need to stop trying to just make everything in the fucking world as performant as possible. There's a max number of these things, and the calculation for that max is already quite efficient. So let's just add data on here. Scale float scale event threshold 0.4f, what I will default that to. And then I suppose I need to set that. Basically create another one of these. Okay, so we have those. Coolly, welcome. And then we're going to grab that here. Where was it? Here it is. Yeah, this is going to be indicator desk. Get scale event threshold. And let's just say if it's -1, we're going to say that's unset. Or I guess less than 0 equals less than... yeah, that's how you do that. Yeah, that's how you write that. Let's continue. Yeah, skip the rest of that. Okay, rebuild. Okay, now I'll need to create the property in the widget. And then one of the next things I want to work on is that little, I don't know what to call it, but it's like whenever you deal damage to a nameplate, it like lerps, you know, and there's like a secondary different color behind the original health bar color. So you can better visualize how much damage is happening. Okay, so here, let's do max nameplate dist. I can delete that, right? A lot of these... yeah, that's all good. Okay, so a float for... scale event threshold. We're going to be 0.4. Initialize nameplate. Or no, it should be here, because we're going to set the indicator, set scale event threshold to this. Well, initialize nameplate. Maybe we can do it there then. Why don't I just do all of this in initialize nameplate? I don't know. I don't know. Let's just see if this works real quick. And then in update name text, we will want to use this same thing there to make sure they match. Otherwise, it just straight up doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, the event is the name hiding and showing when it gets too small. There we go. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. When that one never has a name, and I guess that still looks good. Okay, that still looks good. Everything looks good. Good. Make this a bit prettier. This shouldn't happen. Is there a way you can throw an assertion in blueprints? Are there blueprint assertions? I don't think so. Just good old print string debug. Debug points, breakpoints. Okay, I guess I am gonna do some UI work here. We have a health bar here. Fill color and opacity. How do I do the... what is the background color? I'd like to change that to a darker... here we go. Tint. There we go. Yeah, change that to a darker color. And then I'm going to need a second health bar, I think. Unless there's a built-in way here. Ooh, a custom material which animates itself. Didn't realize this was all one component. Or one widget here. That changes how I was picturing this happening. Fill image. Marquee image. Marquee mode. I wonder if most people just use a material for this. I would have thought you just had 2 bars within this one, but it's all like essentially you have like a background, or 3 bars. You have a background bar, you have your lerp bar, and then you have your actual health value bar. Let me search real quick. No other people do it. .3D health bar. With overlaying two but how do you like, do you just like make the background of one? Oh, you just make the background of one invisible or something like that? I could do that. Let's just do that. Okay, so we're gonna, can I duplicate this? I guess I need to, what is the border doing here? Does the border do anything? Let's wrap with overlay. This should be no padding. I want that to be a fill. There we go. Alright, dog's freaking out there for a second. Okay, so just duplicate that. And so for the one on top, I guess is going to have no background. So make that full opacity. Give me... And then that one should be, that's the health bar color. And then this one should be white. There we go. It's not the, there we go. Okay, yeah. So we just lerp it. Yeah. Okay, now I've totally forgotten how to do animations. The lerp-de-derp one is the one we want to animate. Health lerp. I'm clicking random things and I've totally forgotten how to do this. Fill color. I want like percentage, right? What was the property called? Yeah, progress percent, right? There we go, percent. I need to like add a keyframe or something, right? Add a new key at the current time. Sure, over point. Let's just do 1 second. Can I scooch? There we go. Just 1 second. Okay. How do I like? Make health bar just 0.5. Make this one 0.75. And then I guess is this like the test value? Yeah, okay. Wow. He figured it out. Although 1 second feels like a long time. I feel like the time should be based off of how much damage it is, right? Let's just like fucking try that out and see what happens. Art value is dynamic. How would you make an animation for an arbitrary value? I think this is just a test. This number here is a test number. So I think it just works. I think Tim Sweeney cooked this up himself. We'll see. I now need to this here. I'm gonna set both, I think. One is unanimated, so it gets set immediately. So let's just see if it works. Okay, the answer is no. The answer is no, it does not just work. Okay. Relative? Yeah, maybe this is what, override with float purlin noise. Wow. This probably doesn't do anything, does it? What, so, wait, am I setting values of each keyframe here? This is relative. So wait, there's no keyframes. Oh, no, don't, uh-oh. I just wanted to add a keyframe, that's it. How do I do this? Using a dynamic material overlay? UMG animations require fixed values in their animations. So you have to do it in the widget. You can't just do it with raw animations. Well, why wouldn't they make a system where you can like dynamically pass in values or something? Oops, hang on. So what if I just always did 1 to 0? Wait, that didn't animate shit. Wait, why isn't it animating at all now? What happened? Let me delete that. We're gonna try that again. Percent. Okay, there we go. I don't know what. Oh, I guess I was still on like the relative or whatever. What if I always did 1 to 0? Aren't you? Isn't it supposed to lerp when you like set the value? Or am I being crazy? I mean, yeah, I guess I can just use like a timeline then. Maybe that's just the easier way to do it. Isn't it timeline or something? Or what is it? Sequence? No, not that. What's the fucking timeline node?
Name, so I'm just gonna call example, and we're just gonna now to create a timeline. What you do is you right click, if you type in timeline, you'll see you get this option to add timeline.
The fuck? Let me guess, this is 2 years ago, so it's fucking changed or something. Add timeline node. Oh, it has to be on an actor? Does it have to be on an actor? Oh my god, of course. This is like the most difficult fucking thing for Unreal Engine to handle. Of course you fucking can't. Just add a goddamn timeline. I don't want a tick function, because I don't want this happening all the fucking time. I refuse to believe that you can't just do this with animations. I just search Unreal Engine widget dynamic animation value. Only in, wait, what? I don't want a material parameter. My God, please turn off the volume. Okay, never mind. I don't even care what that video was showing anymore. That's really dumb that you can't dynamically animate. If that is... It adds a new relative section. Relative to what, though? Maybe I should... Maybe I should read a little bit. What? I don't know what I just hit. I also don't want to bookmark that. The word relative doesn't show up on here at all. Oh, no. Oh, you could. Oh, you have to do this. Okay, I forgot about that part. Forgot about that part. Why the hell can't you pass in a variable into here? I guess you could, yeah, I guess I can do this. So the start time is going to be the old %. Hang on. Can I put this back into a function now? Back into a function. Nip snap. Okay. I think I can do this. Hold %. And if I'm just lerping from 1 to 0, I just make the start time the hold %, because it's happening over 1 second. Although I will maybe need to get, if I change the time, get time. Get start time, get end time. The start time of this animation. I mean, wouldn't that always be 0? I guess it would be end time, then divide the 2. But for now, it's the same. So let's just check if that works. Yeah, there we go. Oh, but it lerps from 1. What the fuck? I said start time. I gave you a start time. How much more clear could I have been? Also... oh, we're setting the color of the wrong one, too. That's why that looked weird. Get aggro color. Where are you being used at? Yeah, we want health bar, not health bar lerp. Here we go. But yeah, anyway, why was that not starting at the correct time? Health bar lerp. Oh, I should do health bar %, not health bar lerp. Maybe. That was fast. Yeah, that's not working. That's not animating at all. Also, let's turn off processor debug. Why can't I, like, add a parameter here like this? Does that work better? Okay, let me make sure this animation is still, like, playing. Our time. 0. Oh, I need to do a 1 minus, don't I? Yeah, I need to do a 1 minus. That's fucking why. I need to flip it. There it is. I can see it kind of behind. We got it. We fucking got it, guys. Yeah, you kind of can use dynamic values. Although why does it look like it? Here, okay. Oh god. Okay, we're just... I was trying to zoom in. Yeah, I mean, that does seem to work. It does seem to start a little larger, and I can also see it behind. I can see it behind the initial one. Also, I don't think I need this old value anymore, because I think I was just being a little, you know, just being a little dumb. Get percent. Old value, go away. Yeah, so I can still... Is this one... Like, does this one have transparency on it or something? No, it's fully opaque. I can see... Oh, there's like a... Oh, there's like transparency on the edges. How would I get that to go away? Maybe I have to make it slightly smaller. Drives rounded box. Outline set. Why is border so fucking weird? Corner array together. I kind of feel like I just need to make it a little bit smaller. How do I get that little bit of transparency to fucking go away? I mean, I suppose I can give it an end time too. That way it's like at least the same. Also, I feel like I should delete these. Hang on, delete all of it real quick. Redo it. Percent. Oop. Percent here is 1. We're gonna lerp to 0. Okay. Maybe that fixes, like, it did look a little off. So let's do one chop. Yeah, it does look like it starts a little higher than... I should make this really fucking big just to see. I mean, that one seemed fine. How do I make this one like a little bit smaller? There's no way padding. Like a 1 padding. Why is there such a dark outline around it now, though? Thank you, Tim Sweeney. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, we can see it all right. Yes, we can. God, the animation still plays at the normal rate. Okay, all right, play rate. Playback speed, 0.25, very slow. Yeah, I mean, I can't really see it behind it anymore now. It doesn't start at the right location, though, that's for sure. It starts like a little bit behind it. Is there like some like cubic interpolation happening here or something? It is, okay. Where the fuck is... I just want linear. Please. Please just... Linear? Please just... There it is. Jesus Christ. There's so much shit here. Never have I needed that much stuff for a simple curve. Well, it still feels like it doesn't start. That little sliver of health there. Ow. Yeah, it still doesn't seem to start in the same location. Did you play Crimson Desert? No, I did not. What happens if you deal like more damage? Yeah, let's slow this down to like 0.1. And then I'm just gonna try to deal more damage. Like if I can chop it again. I mean, it's all right. It's all right. I wonder if I kind of want to add like a delay, a little bit, like a slight delay. I could also derive playback speed from how much damage has been dealt. As a proportion of percentage of total. I'm gonna assume I would have to do it in the yeah, I'd have to do it in the event, which would be fine. Okay, back to an event. And you don't have any opinion on it. I mean, no, not really. I mean, I think this is fine for now. I think this gets the job done. Let's look at it in combat. God, that animates so fast. I like just keeping it in 0 to 1 because that keeps the code nice and simple. So maybe we just play it at like half speed. Oh, you know what would be really cool? So I'm planning on, I mean, you may have already seen it, but the damage numbers have colors to them based on the element. Like there was purple for shadow damage and orange for fire damage. It would be cool if that bar behind it were to be colored based on the damage type that happened. That would get a little complicated when multiple pieces of damage are happening. That would get a little complicated there. But you could show like a section for each color. It'd also get more complicated when other people are dealing damage to it. Yeah, maybe it's not worth it. And some of the damage is going to be very small. I do like it though. It's already making combat feel a little bit better. You can feel the damage a little bit more. Now I wish the damage would display in front of the nameplate and on top of it, perhaps. So a problem for a different day, though. That's good. I like that. So far, that is good. Good. Let's make the background. Give it a little bit of transparency. Let's go 0.75. Mistakes are just lessons on the path to enlightenment. Thank you. Very zen. Very zen of you. He needs to make a sound when he deals damage to me, but I'm going to do a whole thing for that. Then I need to handle continuous chops here. Yeah, because I cannot keep chopping. I need to handle that. What is next here? You know, the cool thing about using the ECS data would be that I could conditionally do this logic, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, I need to basically just keep handling tree chopping stuff. I think the last time I was here, you were making a procedural map and there wasn't much on it. Well, that would have had to have been years ago. I have not worked on the procedural stuff in probably over a year now, at least. Welcome back. That was just my test level. It's just my test level. Here's like the actual. What is this? Interesting. Okay. Well, found another one. Ryder, can you pay attention? Okay, so for tree chopping, I need to handle like clearing stumps, basically. What's today's bug busting mission? No bugs, just features. I famously have never created a bug in my life, so definitely not that one that we just saw. Here's the actual game world. Oh no, no! Hello? Oh, those don't have the proper setup, I suppose. What, what did I do here? It's grass. Collision is block all. They have collision. Are these just not spawning with tree entities? Oh, I'm not using like actual collision. Let's do this. If I just want to know if we're actually getting hits or not. Or if they don't have entities. I forgot where I added the entities. I think they might just not have entities. No, there's no blocking hits at all. Okay. Worlds. Oh, are they not world static? Is that the issue? I think I'm just being fucking dumb. They are world dynamic. Block all. Okay. That was the issue. Okay, now let's try. Not that that was not even the point of what I was doing, but it's good to figure that out. Why do I have cave mushrooms growing there? Oh, because that's very slightly slanted outwards. So that's like, oh, I'm underground. It's funny. Oh, there I go. Oh. Oh. I need to fix the ragdoll. I'm just gonna assume that's working correctly. Oh, is there anything else I could get done today before I have to hop off here? I need to reset the tree health. And I probably need to... So what I do here is I actually run a damage equation against the tree. The trees have a health that are based on the area of the tree. And then that determines the dynamic chop depth amount. I do some math to determine, you know, how much damage. You'll notice the health bars is about the same percentage of the way through as the chop shape, give or take. And then when the health is 0, I chop all the way through the tree. Now, it is location based, so if I do this, I can chop up there. Now I can chop in all sorts of different locations, which this one's kind of hard to see because there's another tree in the way. But I have a chop there, and because I was most of the way, I was like halfway through, or maybe 40% through. That one was deeper than the first one, which was barely deep. That one, or no, this one was the first one. That one's barely in there, and then this one was a little bit further. So I think that makes sense because you're dealing damage to the tree. But what happens when I chop up here? And I have this taller stump that I can still keep chopping. Now, I don't think I can keep chopping it at this point. I can, actually. But I need some continual chopping or stump removal. Right, we got to remove stumps. In Valheim, you just keep swacking them. Whacking them? Yeah. In Animal Crossing, you have to dig them up with a shovel. Gotta switch tools. But what happens if, I'm standing on the side of a hill, and then I just chop off the tip, just the tip. Maybe I'm standing right here. I just slice. What am I trying to say? Obviously that shouldn't give you very much wood. And I already have the amount of loot that you get is commensurate to the volume of the resulting trunk. So I'm kind of thinking that the tree health should be based on chop location. And I can maybe I would have to probably use the complex collision because the simple collision is the same width. And I think the simple collision is what I'm using right now to determine the chop depth. I wonder if I could just, interpolate based on height, potentially. It's not going to work for every tree, though. Not every tree is going to be like an interpolated point, right? Like I could have some, super... I could literally have a tree, like it's a shitty tree, and then I could chop right there instead of right here, right? I could chop there. I could snip the tip. Should the tree be in segments with its own health? Yeah, that sounds like too many assets. Sounds like way too many assets and too much to spawn and stuff like that. Though I suppose those segments that you speak of could just be simple collision. Again, I want to do the least amount of setup as possible. So I don't want to have to, I would like it to be, I'm going to lean on my chops as a programmer to make this as dynamic as possible. I would like to do as little manual work as possible. How do I visualize collision in this thing? Is it here? There we go. Yeah, simple collision. So there's the simple collision. I could just make several of these. With varying, those could be the segments you speak of. But that's manual. That's manual setup for every tree, which I don't want to do. I mean, I already have to manually set up this simple collision, so maybe it's not that much more. I could generate the simple collision, I suppose. They do have the trunk in its own material slot for exactly the purpose of this system. So I could dynamically generate the collision. I could probably actually do that. The thing is, like, I just don't have as much control, and you can already see some of the issues that happen because of dynamically generated collision. Like, you'll notice some of these like pop off once I get all the way through. Thank you. Thank you. Because of my, oh my god, please. Wow. Because are you serious? You're gonna just crash my fucking demonstration here. So rude. Got fucking Sweeney'd again. But the trees kind of pop up a little bit because because it's a dynamic mesh, so the generated collision is it's not perfect, and the little capsule butt sticks out a little bit. I wonder if I should. So I'm just using one of the geometry script functions to generate the collision. I'm wondering if I could just get the length. How would I get the length of the resulting mesh? So you can see the little, it popped it up because of this right here. And I already shrink it a little bit. Oh, this created 2. Oh, interesting. Oh, it created 3. Created 3. Oh, interesting. These are automatically generated capsules here. That's interesting. I didn't realize it would do that. Well, if it's going to do that, yeah, maybe I should just use that to... See, the thing is, like, I don't want to have to, like... I don't want to have to do that every time I spawn a tree, though. That's just inefficient. Maybe I create, like, a little editor utility. You know, so I can, collision will be like, add my collision. So that way I don't have to do all the manual stuff, and I can do it in separate sections. I mean, that only solves like the first... It only solves the first bit, though, I think. I still need to determine, like, how do I remove a stump? That's another problem. How do I... what's the gameplay impact of the stump, and how does the player remove it? Maybe I just need like a downwards chop. Give it a little bit more health. Master Agent Miyazaki, welcome. Love that name. Yeah, and then I guess if the health is based off of the width, that would be good. I do have a downwards chop animation for my that would be my mining animation, so I can just use that. And then yeah, I guess I would just need like an area, although I wouldn't be able to use a flat value for the area threshold of what determines a stump versus just more tree. I guess it would need to be a ratio of the original area. Like if it's less than 10% the area of the original static mesh area, then it's a stump. I already have the loot as a function of the area of the resulting trunk. So that's good. So that means you can't like finesse it. It'd be better just to chop it at the base. Less work, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I think that feels okay. Let me look here. Okay, so the one issue with how I have things now is that I'm assuming that there's only one. Excuse me. I'm assuming that there's only one cylinder bounce. Can I ask a tangential hypothetical? Don't ask to ask, just ask. I don't know if you've heard that concept before or not. But that's, how do you say this? That's like etiquette for like pinging someone at like work or something like that. They're like, hey, do you got a second? Like, no, you've already distracted them. Just ask what you needed to ask, you know? Or someone just says, hey. But yeah, you can ask your question. Sorry, tangent. That was already that was a tangent. Yeah, so how would I store multiple bounds? I haven't even considered that. All of my entities now just assume there's one bounds. Well, maybe this is about the time. Maybe this is the time I need to try this out here. This is an ECS physics library using ENTT, which is the same ECS I use. I was going to test this out and see what the performance was like. Does it have any performance? They have a design doc. That's crazy. Show me some performance benchmarks or something. Profiler? CPP and UE5 got me followed. Not many UE5 devs on Twitch that actually write in C++. Yeah, not a whole lot, that's for sure. Yeah, I've used mass. I didn't like it. It actually, I think it was a pain in the ass to use, actually. So I wrote my own. Well, I didn't. I did try to write my own ECS. I replaced it with ENTT, and then I've written my own systems on top of that. What if you had different tools making impact on the tree, like blunt flora blade, laser, chemical? How would you manage different damage types on the same object? I mean, it works the same as any other damage to any other thing. Like, thanks to ECS, like, it's all managed. What is this bar doing? Why is there like a loading bar at the top of this page? But yeah, all of that is already handled. It's just handled as a part of the regular damage equation, as a part of my damage processor. And because a health component gets added to my tree, and then a damage event happens, it just all automatically handles it. The actual collision and deformation, though, only happens when an axe hits it. So, I probably should, to your point, I probably should write a processor to fell the tree whenever enough damage has happened to it, when it's not an axe. Does anyone else use this? Dude, this seems like such a fucking... You can do a distributed simulation across different network servers. Like, that's kind of intense. What was this created for? I'm already in the ENTT Discord. Wait, is this guy's the maintainer? Found it pretty workable, but the main problem I have is that there's no real way to parallelize mass processors over multiple cores. I would love a way to have different processors for totally different contexts run on different threads. Yeah, that was one of the limitations I actually ran into as well. But my new system I've set up to basically only do inner parallelism rather than the outer parallelism that you're talking about, which seems to be easier to just manage conceptually, at least for me. Which I know Mass has the ability to use the parallel for, which is what I use now. But yeah, I definitely had, when I was using Mass, some of my processors, like, they took a long time, basically. And I would have some for, like, the state tree processor. Like, that ended up taking, like, several hundred milliseconds to run. And I'm sure you use the state tree processor, too. And like that's kind of the downside of it, because the state tree is not cache coherent, which is like the entire point of an ECS, right? So anything you do in the state tree is unperformant. And when I was working with it, I was like, well, okay, I don't need the state tree to run every single frame. That's not like a huge deal if, you know, entities don't make a state tree transition, you know, for a couple frames. And I think mine for like, you know, 10K entities or something was coming out to be like several hundred milliseconds. Which is like, okay, you know, that's like kind of human reaction time, so that's not like too bad. But yeah, I wanted to run that just on a background thread across several frames. And of course, the more you interact with Unreal Engine, the more you have to do things on the game thread, which is another limitation. But essentially what I did was and of course, the state tree processor also tries to find a state. So it'll actually like run the state tree like I think up to 5 times is what I saw in the source code to actually find the next state. So you could actually be running, processing the state tree 5x, you know, depending on how many transitions happen or whatever. But I got rid of the state tree. So I don't use the Unreal Engine state tree at all. I wrote my own in C++ for... I can show you. It's a variadic template metaprogramming. Ensure it's in game thread. Yeah, hit that a lot. But my state tree has 0 heap allocation, so it's very, very performant, very, very fast. And all it really does, it's quite simple. So here's what the state tree would look like. This is like a state tree right here. It has a context, which basically just carries the entity and then a utility function. But then I go to my states. Each of my states are like one of these things, which has a tag, like an enter function. It can have an exit function. It can have a tick function. And then again, this is all like, there's no heap allocation for any of this. And then on success, you give it to like what state you want to transition to. So my root state, doesn't really do anything, but my first state is combat. So on enter, all I do in these state trees is check for certain components. And this is like, if the entity for this state tree has a target, or rather if it doesn't have a target, sorry, this state tree fails. And so on failed, we go to the interaction state, right? But if we do have a target, we need to choose an ability to use against it. And we need to figure out the execution location for that ability. So I add those 2 components. And I have processors that do that in a cache coherent and cache efficient way. And now my state tree runs in like a couple hundred microseconds. So I run the state tree every frame now because it does A, so little, and B, it doesn't really have any heap allocation, so iterating over it is very fast. And then also all of the, you know, all the logic it does is just checking for different entity components. So that's a little bit cache incoherent, but it's a lot better than the Unreal Engine state tree. So I kind of, that's all suffice to say that I got rid of the necessity for outer parallelism, like what you're talking about, where you want to run something across potentially multiple frames on a background thread. Which, yeah, I ran into the same issue. And then, yeah, the whole fragments and traits thing was like such a pain in the ass, especially with some of the built-in. I'm sure it's better now. I used it back in like 5.1.2, but like if I didn't have a guide telling me exactly what traits and fragments needed to be with each other. Like I found some that were like conflicting and created kind of like a, I don't know if it was like a circular dependency or whatever, but like some of the traits add subset fragments like automatically, and then other traits like require you to already have added it, and it just became a pain in the fucking ass to like reason about that. So I hated that part of it. And then these processors, a lot of them aren't like cache efficient, like the state tree. And then yeah, if you're using gas, I rewrote gas into my ECS system as well, because gas, my post gameplay effect executes were taking like 100 microseconds per entity, which is not a whole lot. You know, 100 microseconds, you can fit 1,000 of those, or sorry, 100 of those. No, you can fit 10 of those in a millisecond. But when I was doing combat between 1,000, 2,000 entities, that was very, very slow. So I think originally, my original like mass implementation of combat, I could get like maybe 100 or 200 entities in combat. It was running at like 20 FPS. Now I can have 2,000 entities in combat at 40 FPS. You know, all at once fighting each other. So, yeah, ditching mass. And honestly, the more Unreal Engine systems you ditch, the faster it's going to be. Because you can get around those bottlenecks for like the game thread and stuff like that. And then I have like a single processor for the representation. If you're doing an RTS, I assume you may be already knowing about like VAT animation. I'll link you the plugin I use that I found that I've done a little bit of work on myself. Someone else's plugin. But yeah, check out that plugin for VAT. It's really performant. They have a really nice, the guy who made that made a really nice compute shader for vertex animation. And you can do things like per bone layered blending of animations, which was going to be a requirement for me. And with the built-in Unreal Engine VAT vertex anim texture plugin or whatever it's called, you would have had to write that yourself, and that is not something you want to write yourself. See anything about the Legend of California game? Yeah, the WoW guys. What is it? Jeff Kaplan? Is that the guy? Yeah, his new game. A little bit. They did a custom ECS system with custom physics, animation, and scripting. What does custom scripting mean in an ECS? That's cool though. Good for them. It'll probably be very performant because I did that. Do you have everything planned? No. No. It's based on Overwatch state script. What does this have to do with ECS, though? I don't think this probably is a separate thing. Yeah, that's just their visual scripting thing. Also, Overwatch is not the kind of game that needs an ECS, if it is. State script is designed around being an ECS component. I mean, this might be that talk. I guess I'm seeing a little bit better about why. I zoom in on this. How do I open this in a new tab? I guess download. Sure. Give me the virus. I guess I'm skeptical of how cache coherent a generic scripting language would be. Very much dislike Gas. My last place to work, we mainly wrote home-roll data-driven gameplay systems, and I had written some base plugins for a progression system. The client of the company wanted us to adapt our plugin and integrate it into Gas. Gas being so rigid was a pain point. Attributes being hard-coded. Nonsense. Let me set up a data table. I mean, you could probably spawn the attributes generically. You would just have to write your own code to do that and wire it up to the data table. But yeah, extra work for sure. Yeah, I kind of feel like Gas, unless you really need all of the functionality of it and you also need it replicated, I feel like, yeah, it is a little overkill. Yeah, it is. I agree, Draconin. This is an interesting... I will look into this. I don't know if I'm going to read all of it right now, but... But yeah, it's like, why would you need an ECS for Overwatch? A 5v5 hero shooter is like the worst case for an ECS. Did not like Gas after that experience. I mean, I think it's just one of those systems in Unreal Engine that's like super... How do I say it? It's like super abstract-y, super API-y. Like, even if you look at Mass under the hood, there's like 40 fucking classes for Mass. It's like, dude, why do I need 40 like, my ECS system has like fucking three classes. One of them is a processor. That all a processor is just calls a process entities function. Then I have an archetype. And then I have an ECS namespace. Like, and that's kind of how all Unreal Engine systems are. They just create so many APIs and concepts. It's such an object-oriented programmer-brained outcome. And Gas is that as well. Like, you have so many different classes. Like, you've got your like attributes. You've got your base value, current value concepts on there. But you've got like your effects, which an effect. There's the actual gameplay effect class. There's the spec version of it. There's the handle version of it. There's effect context. Just have so many of these concepts in these classes, and to me, it creates a very, very difficult to grok system and difficult to work with system. That's kind of how all Unreal Engine stuff is. Unreal's whole actor object model is so bloated. I think that's exactly what I'm saying, yeah. I've grown to like very much haven't been a user of Unreal since just after 4.0. Wow, that's a long time. That's a long time. Yeah, I know you just joined, but the joke is that I rewrite all Unreal Engine systems that I come across because I'm not happy with them. They're not performant enough, they're a pain in the ass to work with, you know. I think the only one that I'm still using is the fucking nav mesh, but that might be on the chopping block soon too. Kage, welcome in and thank you for the follow. But yeah, I rewrote the state tree, I rewrote Gas, I rewrote Mass. I don't use Unreal Engine's vertex animations. I have my own kind of animation system built in between Turbo Sequence and my ECS. I don't use U objects at all, really. Try not to, at least. I have very few U objects. All structs, so very little garbage collection that I need to do. All thanks to ENTT. Anyways, let me It's almost like you're running your own game engine in reverse as you remove UE stuff. Yeah, that's also the joke, I suppose. Although, like, writing your own, that's like, I feel like the things that I have rewritten are like custom. No, I'm not rewriting the fucking renderer. You want this game to ever come out? Of course, I have some U objects, Marcus, but like most of all of my data is in structs. It's basically just structs, processors, and utils functions. So I don't have any like classes that I create. I don't really use actor components at all. I have like 2 actor components at this point. One of them is a nameplate indicator manager, which I could easily get rid of. I don't need that. Another one is just my building component, and those are both like local player things, right? That's specifically for players. So my entities have 0 components. There's no actor components on my entities. I think most of what you've rewritten is gameplay framework stuff, really. Yeah, and that's what I'm like writing my own engine. That's like so much more. There's so much more like lower levels, like even just like your input system, right? I'd have to write like a whole ass input system, a sound system, audio, you know, like all like there's so like I've rewritten maybe like fucking 1% of what an engine is, and the kind of stuff I've rewritten is stuff that like some engines don't even provide you. Like most engines don't have like a gameplay ability system, right? They don't have like a state tree. So it's in other engines, it's typically stuff that you'd write yourself anyway. In some others, of course, Unity has dots, which I feel like might be better than Unreal Engine's mass. The one thing mass has that I don't have is a RVO avoidance, which I'll need to write an avoidance processor. Anyways, let me fucking finish reading a little bit about this. Okay, we have conditions, action, state, which are nodes. State script might just be their implementation of what my state tree does, I feel like. Because if all of it's doing, well, it's also edited. I saw it could set variables too, which my state tree does not set variables. It does not set members within data. It adds data, removes data. Actually, I mean, there are a few states where I do some extra stuff. But I mean, this is inherently not... Like, this is not cache efficient. It's just using ECS. It's just using a data-driven architecture. State script looks to me like it's basically state tree, but displayed horizontally in a visual graph. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm picking up from it as well. I mean, I think it's less than the Unreal, because in Unreal Engine state tree you can do arbitrary logic. Like you can create your own states and do logic within them. This is just like edit data conditionally. I don't know why I'm triggered by reading the names of these two classes. Like, These trigger me. State script dependency provider. God damn. It just makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. If I ever write a class name like that, or I feel like that's when you need to take a step back from your system because you're making it a little too generic. Gonna lurk while I try to acclimate myself with code I wrote 2 years ago. Oh boy. I haven't looked at since. I remember half of it. Custom mission editor, the custom graph system. Good luck. I'll see you in another 2 years. Security. So I mean, this is just composition over inheritance, which I think is a good thing. It is a good data-driven system. Definitely more efficient than just blueprints or the Unreal Engine state tree. But I don't think it's quite getting to the Jesus Christ. Not quite getting to the full capabilities of ECS cache coherency. But I mean, it's Overwatch. They don't need that. So. Oh my god. Why? So do they draw the graph on the screen? That's like their debug? That's funny. Interesting. It is interesting. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. That will do it for me. Did you guys over to Fractal? And I am going to go to work now. So maybe I'll see you guys later. I'm on call this week, so I don't know how much streaming I'll be doing. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Last time it was a little bit of extra work, so pray for me. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys over in Fractal stream. Fractal Grove.